Hey guys, it's Don here from Pandemic Playgrounds and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be doing a brand new fresh start or best start possible game with co-op. So let's get started. Now before we begin the campaign, I am actually going to walk through the whole new game scenario on what we're going to be doing. So first I would start off with a custom game. And scroll all the way down to star system. This is where you can actually have all the planets and nothing is built. There are other options that you could choose from if you want to play a little bit of a scenario or even an empty world, but mainly we would start with the star system. Now I'm actually going to name this co-op with Dave. This way I know that this is the game that we're going to be playing in. We're also going to be playing in survival mode, and the best way to do this as far as online mode is to pick friends. Now, autosave is also enabled, which is a good thing, and the maximum amount of players you want. So if you guys are lucky enough to have friends to play with you, you could choose this option to whatever it is going to be. Now, I'm going to jump into the advanced options first. And if you want to keep everything semi-hard, in a sense where you have to do more work, you could keep this at the standard X3, or you could go up to X10. It's all up to you. Now, we're going to leave this as default. This way it's just a little bit grindier, you could say. As far as the environment goes, I am going to change it to normal. This way we have some form of asteroid, so we have to protect ourselves with some stuff. Asteroid, infinite normal density. Sound, arcade, or realistic. I'm going to keep that as arcade. Now, world size, unlimited. View distance, 15 kilometers, which is perfectly fine. And now if you guys are running on a slower computer, you don't want to generate that much, you could also lower this, but 15 is fine for me. Respawn, we're gonna have cooldowns disabled, so yeah, technically you can respawn almost instantly. Sun rotation, every 2 hours it'll be day, and then 2 hours again it'll be night. That's fine. Max object 100, block limits. Max ship size, this is disabled. You can actually enable this. You're basically forced to make smaller ships or whatever size you want. Max block per player, this is also disabled. Total PCU, this is also depending on your computer. 100,000 is good. Sometimes we do hit the limit when we do our experiments, so 100,000 is good for games like this. Max backup saves 5. I can't tell you how many times I rely on this because I roll back to a backup because my game crashed or something. So always keep backup saves. Optimal spawn distance. This is the option we will definitely need to change if you're going to be playing co-op, especially if you're going to do the co-op together. So instead of spawning 16,000 kilometers away from each other, we are going to go down to as little as possible, even disabled. So that's got to be new because I remember it used to be like 1,000 was the lowest. But I'm gonna put this on disabled. Auto healing. That might be more fun without it actually, because we would have to find a place. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna disable that. Disable auto heal. Enable spectator mode, because when we do our time lapse and stuff like that, we do have a spectator mode to monitor that. So yeah, enable spectator. Delete respawn ship. We're going to leave that as disabled. This way we could still keep our respawn ships. Reset ownership, permanent death, cargo ships, in-game scripts. We are going to use that because we use a lot of like crane scripts and stuff like that. Tool shake, that's fine. Adaptive simulation quality. This is something like if your server or your computer is slow to host, this will actually slow the gameplay down a little bit. So keep this up if you got a slower computer, or ultimately it would just run normal speed. Random encounters is fine. Enable voxel hand, that's also fine. Enable third person view, yep. Enable oxygen, convert to station, tightness, air tightness. Unsupported stations, enable jetpack, yes. Voxel destruction, spawn with tools, yes. Enable drones, yes. Enable wolves, that might be a little fun, but I'm going to keep that disabled for now. Enable spiders, disabled as well. Now, these are spawned on different types of planets. So I believe spiders are on moons and wolves are on planets. Remote block removal, that does help if you're hosting a server and there's something like glitched out and you can't click on it. So keep that enabled. Subgrid damage, so I usually leave that off. Enable friendly fire missile damage, disable that. Unknown signals, yes, definitely unknown signals. Enable respawn ships, progression. We're going to disable progression. That's just because it doesn't matter for us. Like we could take apart our landing gear right away and then re-enable the landing gear, and you instantly unlock a lot of tools. So I don't think progression really hinders the gameplay. It's just a lot easier without it. So I'm going to disable that. Enabling economy and bounty contracts, yes. Enable weather system. Now I'm going to disable this because this is actually really annoying on a co-op. What happens is it slows down the computer, slows down the gameplay. Sometimes it even crashes. So I tend to disable the weather system. So that is all the options that I'm going to be choosing for our gameplay with me and Dave. Now next, we're going to choose our mods. Now as far as mods go, we're not going to go crazy in modding the game. We like to play very, very vanilla. I mean, we might add some stuff like bullet trails to make the appearance look pretty good, as well as build vision, because that just helps build a little bit easier instead of having to run around figuring out what light is light 75 or something. So we're going to have bullet trails, build vision, and easy inventory. Now easy inventory is almost a must-have on each game, so you could just pass the blocks back into the thing or into your storage without having to like right click and shift click and all this other stuff. It's just so much easier to use inventory as far as like building, placing blocks, and everything like that. So pretty much those are the options we're going to be choosing. Now if I want to get insane, we could do air traffic, assertive installation. That will spawn more creatures in and we're going to have to fight them. But no, this is more of a best start or first start guide for co-op play. So I'm just going to keep these three for now, and maybe eventually we might add something here or there, but no, I don't think we need anything else. So I'm going to hit OK. And that is it. That's our custom creation of the planet. So I'm going to start this star system. And before you get your friends to join, the first thing you need to do is actually jump into the game itself and create a faction. All right, so here we go. We are going to actually choose, depending on the planet, there's Earth, which is pretty easy. It's got 1 gravity, 90% oxygen. Mars, you still got a little bit of oxygen. Planet gravity is a little bit higher. It's not too bad to start on. Alien planet, same as Mars. It's just more greenery. Titan, in the other hand, is a little bit difficult to start because there's 0 oxygen and the planet gravity is really light. It's very hard to go around finding stuff. I think out of all the things, I think Moon would be probably the hardest. It's very hard to find resources on the Moon, and again, 0% oxygen, 0.25 gravity. So yeah, that makes it a little bit difficult. Triton, I tried on Triton. It feels just like Earth, so it's very easy to start. It's very icy, but that's a good thing. This one is also hard. This is all ice. So finding material, you have to get through ice, and ice is very heavy. Even though the ice is good, it's still pretty hard to start. Now I have not tried this planet yet. I know Dave's been starting his series on this, and it's been pretty interesting. I have not tried it on here, so I couldn't tell you how it would be. And then you got your space pod and just space suit. Space suit, you start with nothing, and space pod, you start with this, just in space. This is actually pretty fun, and I might do best start series guide with this and Dave, because this space pod itself is really fun once you start off. So we're going to be choosing Earth-like drop pod, and we just hit respawn, and it's going to spawn me right into the planet with the respawn pod. So hitting V will give you the third person view. Hitting V again would go back in, and you basically at this point kind of scout out before you land to see where the best options are. Now again, before you call your friend in, what you want to do is hit the I key and go into factions and then create your own faction. So I am going to create PPG for Pandemic Playgrounds, and just be sure it's going to be PPG. And you can also change these logos. Let me see if I can find one that's how about this one? That looks pretty good. There we go. Hit OK. Pandemic Playgrounds. There you go. Okay, now that we got this, all we have to do is accept everyone, because he's going to be the only one joining. And also when you click on your name, share progression, just in case, because if we are doing progression, this would help. Now that we are here, you are ready to spawn your friend in, and you're gonna have to wait until episode 2 when David joins in. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is a little bit teaser of us playing in the future, so hopefully you guys will subscribe and watch the next episode, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.